Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Joe Sidoti here. Man, I am excited because this is the final video of this Mix and Album from Start to Finish series. This is part 8, and we're going to take all 3 songs and put them together in a pseudo mastering session. I say pseudo because I'm not calling myself a mastering engineer. But we can do a lot of things that will make this commercially viable. So I'm throwing in the word pseudo, because out of respect for engineers who master every day on very nice equipment and have serious skills, I want to respect that. So that's why I'm calling it pseudo mastering. Nevertheless, call it what you want. We're going to bring all 3 songs together. We're going to make them cohesive and bring them into a finished product that you can then release. Now, before we jump into Pro Tools, what I'm going to do is we're going to open up each of the 3 songs and just give a quick listen, see if there's any adjustments we want to do, and then we're going to bounce those out, and then we're going to open up a new session where we're going to start finishing this out. So please, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel because it really helps, and show some support and go to sidotisound.com/shop and pick yourself up some merch, maybe a hat or a mug or a beanie or a hoodie, a t-shirt. You know, it really helps me out. So with that being said, let's dive in to Pro Tools. Okay, I have opened up the first song, which if you don't recall is Remember. And remember, you can get these files on sidotisound.com/shop, and they're free. It's just a discount is already automatically applied, so it's free. When this series is finished on YouTube, I'm actually going to make them not be free anymore. So I'm going to say for about another month, I'm going to keep these things up for free, and then I'm going to take it down from being free. So make sure if you're getting something out of this, share it with a friend, download what you can now. So the first song is called Remember. I'm just going to kind of press play and listen. Okay, I might do some of this off camera, but here's what I'm doing. I'm just going to listen. I'm going to make a couple quick little fader adjustments. Make sure there's nothing major that needs to change, and then I'll come right back. Okay, what I've done so far is really just adjust some vocal levels. The bridge was too low, so I cranked it up. And it sounded nice, but then I realized, well, the verses are too low. So then I brought the bridge back down, and I brought the whole vocal bus up a little bit. And then all I did was I just separated some regions, and I used trim gain to kind of adjust little sections, like the first verse, and then I brought the double down a little bit, and so on and so forth. So now I'm just going to listen a little bit more, and this is just about ready to be bounced. So I'm actually against better judgment. I'm going to tell you this because I don't do it that often, and it's highly controversial. And it's, should you mix or at least listen in mono? I virtually never listen in mono, except when I'm making a final mix decision. I will listen in mono and just make sure that I can hear everything. And if something is way off, I'll adjust it. Otherwise, I don't touch it. I just want to make sure that it's translating in mono. But I'm talking about I listen just for a couple minutes, and that's it. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'll come right back. Okay, that outro vocal, when I was listening very low volume in mono, was definitely too loud, so I added some delay, and I turned it way down. I'm just going to listen to that section again now at a normal volume, which is still low for most people, but back in stereo, and I actually had turned the sub off as well, just making sure that the kick and the bass could still be heard at a low volume without the subwoofer. So now I'm kind of going back to my normal mode. I'm just going to listen one last time, and then we'll bounce. Okay, now all I'm going to do is clean the intro and the outro. So let's go to the beginning, and I just kind of zoom in here and listen for anything that I need to mute or fade in right from the beginning. And I'll also set a marker now for my in point for when I'm bouncing. When I make my selection, this is my in, and then at the very end I'll make an out, and that'll always be my selection that I choose as the bounce. So let me listen. I'm just nothing, everything. Get rid of that, I suppose. And that doesn't do anything good. I always fade in, no matter what, I just want let it pop when it's coming in. So this guy, oops. Let me just for a second. Do that, do that. Bring this guy back. I just want super clean, no issues. That's the base. Choose the drums. Right there's a good enough spot for me. I'm going to call that in. Re-enable my groups. Save. And then let's go to the ending, and let's listen if there's anything we need to delete or fade. It drops everything out by then, so I'm just going to delete that, and then we will fade that out. Facing out by about there. Let's fade that, listen. These parts here, oops. I'll just fade that, and that. I definitely want to be out by here for sure, so I'm just going to delete that, and let's see where I want to start my fade. Right about there. That might even still be a little long, so I'm going to bring that in. Match that. Close enough. Let's split the difference. Go right up about there. Make a marker, out. And this should all just be fine. I'm just going to double click with that fade tool, and it'll put a quick little okay. I'm going to bring up my markers here, and I'm going to select my in marker. I'm going to press shift and click my out, and now that is my selection, and I can bounce to disk. File, bounce bounce mix. We'll call this remember dash mix dash 1, just in case we need to make it be 2. I choose physical outputs 1 and 2 because that's what I'm hearing, so I know that that's what I want to make sure. I'm going to do an interleaved, And I'm going to keep it 24-bit 48K at this point. And we will just bounce it in the bounce files offline. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to close this session and let's open up the second song, which is Without You. Okay, here we are back in Pro Tools. This is where we left Without You. And if you'll recall, we brought in Remember when we were mixing this to kind of compare. So I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to listen to it and check some things, and if it's good, I'll bounce it. If not, I'll come back and I'll tell you what I changed. I'm just trying to make this video as short as I can, and it's not going to be that short, so I'm trying to keep you engaged. Speaking of engagement, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I love to engage with you guys online in the comments section. Of course, I'm on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook under Sidoti Sound. Feel free to look me up there. You know, it's fun. We get to interact. So, okay, let me give this song a listen. I used to wish that you were around, and then my life got turned upside down. Where are you? Oh, that's why. Where are you? Come outside. Come and take me, where are we? Where I can find you there. It's okay that you're not around, and now that I'm free, I can't touch the sound. Where are you? Oh, that's why. Where are you? Come outside. Come and take me, where I be? Where I can find you there. Come and take me, where I be? Where I can find you. Okay, this one was pretty right on. The verse vocals were just a tad bright, because now that I just heard Remember, I'm just kind of adjusting that. And then overall, the guitars were just a wee bit low. So, that's what I did. Let's fix the input, or sorry, the beginning. Make sure that we've cleaned everything up. We'll make our endpoint. And then we'll do the same thing on the out, and we'll bounce. Now this one starts with a drum loop right away, so pretty much the endpoint is going to be the beginning. So let's skip to the end. So as far as drums go, we can end them here, no problem. We'll delete that. Delete that. Now, at some point I made an out decision. I wonder if that's going to be good enough. Let me. I feel like it will. We'll delete that, and I'm just going to come fade the stuff. Oops. You don't need. Get rid of those again. Get rid of that. Fade out. I don't need that. Fade out. Let's listen to this. Alright, so these two delete and fade out about there and there. Okay, listen to this. Since I base out by then, no problem. And here, definitely around by there. I'll delete that. Fade. Fade. Listening here. Definitely out by there. Let's come here. Command F, fade out. So now it's just these two tellies that we really got to make sure it's a nice smooth fade, because it's going to be the only thing we hear. So I'm going to audition this right about there, I think, but I'm going to hit Command F, and then I'm going to kind of pull this down, and I want to preview this. That'll work just fine. Move that down. Command F. Same fade. Let's listen to that. I want to hear what's making that high-pitched noise. I think it's this. No, maybe it's these. I'm hearing like a... No. The old synth lead. Aha! Alright, let's fade this out more, and let's fade that out much sooner to there. Let me hear that. Even sooner. I really want to fade that out. That'll work. Let me just clean these up so we don't have any ticks at the end of the waveform here. Oh, We'll just put that back to normal. Okay. Oops. Don't do that. Now we can select our out point, shift, click, and I'm just going to drag all the way to the beginning. So we've made our selection now. And bounce mix. Okay, going to close that session and open up our third song, which is Christmas Time. All right, here we are in Christmas time. Gonna celebrate it with a rhyme. Okay, let's just do the same thing. I'm just gonna listen. I'll let you know if I change anything, what I changed and why I changed it, and we'll just start from the beginning, and I'll come right back.
I miss you so, I want you to know, I want you to know that here it's not the same. It's Christmas time, it's Christmas time, it's Christmas time, and I'm coming home. I need you here, I want to be there, I want you to care that here it's not the same. It's Christmas time, it's Christmas time, it's Christmas time, and I'm coming home.
So these background vocal, the little echoes, they're definitely too loud, so I'm gonna lower them. Listen to that part again.
It's Christmas.
Also, the clean guitar was too mid-rangey and honky, so I had added that EQ for whatever reason. I don't like it now, so I just kind of flattened it out.
It's Christmas time, it's Christmas time, it's Christmas time, and I'm coming home. Will you feel the same? If I'm not with you this year, it would be more fun if I'm not the only one who feels this way. It's Christmas time, it's Christmas time, it's Christmas time, and I'm coming home. It's Christmas time, it's Christmas time, it's Christmas time, and I'm coming home.
Awesome. Okay. I lowered the background vocals. I lowered that EQ on the guitar. What else did I do? I think, oh yeah, I brought some violin down and brought some cello up on the bridge. I brought the synth lead up on the bridge. And I brought the ride up just a hair. So I'm going to go to the beginning and listen for any edits I need to make. Same thing at the end. You got the gist by now. Here we go.
I miss you so. I miss you so.
That ought to do it.
I miss you so.
Yeah, we can kill all the drums up to at least that part. I think there's probably nothing there anyways, and that was just when I rendered everything out for bouncing the multi-track stems. That's probably why all that info is there and doesn't need to be there. Yeah, I mean, you can see there's nothing. Alright, so we're going to select the end and drag to the beginning, File, Bounce Mix. Okay, I will close that. Now, I created a new session and I called it Mix an Album Master. Here it is. So far, this is all I've got. I've got 3 audio tracks and 1 master fader. Now, first things first, let's bring in all 3 of our songs. Command-Shift-I. Okay, there's our 3 mixes. This one is Christmas Time. This one is Remember. And this one is Without You. Okay, and I'm just going to change the order here. I'll put Remember first and Christmas Time last. That's the order in which we did them, and that's the order in which I would put this together if it were an album. Whew. Okay, the master fader is not really going to have anything on it except for maybe a meter or something like that. Then I'm going to mute Without You and Christmas Time, and first thing I'm going to do on the old Remember channel is I'm going to put this EQ. This EQ from Brainworks is my favorite for mastering. It's got the mono maker, it's got the presence shift and the bass shift. I have a video just on mastering, everything you need to know about mastering. I'll put a link to that in the description and a card right here. At this point, I'm going to kind of do some of the same stuff. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to listen to the song. I'm actually going to drag that to the second thing here first, and I'm actually going to use this linear EQ so that I can kind of see. I really trust... no, you know what? I'm going to go with the Eosis. I trust the metering on this, the RTA, if you will. I'm really used to it, and so I just want to see what my waveform looks like. pretty good response there. I felt like it was a little low around here, so I just brought that up a little bit. I may or may not decide to keep this little air lift that I did. But yeah, I should have started with that EQ first, and then I like to use this for some just to taste, you know, kind of I trust my eyes and now I trust my ears, if that makes any sense. I just want to make sure that what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing sounds like it should make sense, and it does make sense. It's just kind of a way to make sure that I'm not tricking myself into thinking that it sounds good, but the meters or the RTA tell me otherwise. Now that I've kind of seen that, it's pretty much all I'll look at that on this song. We'll do the same thing on the next song. So let me keep listening. Now, unless you're listening on good speakers or headphones, you can't hear what's happening when I do this. Having a subwoofer will help, but one thing that's great about this Brainworks EQ is it has this auto listen function and auto solo function, so I can actually click on that low frequency and ride it until I really feel like I can hear the thing that I'm trying to enhance. In this case, it's actually a little thud from the kick drum, and I don't want to go up high enough into the bass. I feel like the bass resonates fine. And so I decided 58 sounded good, and just that little bit of a bump of almost 4 dB, but kind of on the narrow side, to just enhance that kick drum a little bit. Okay. Now, in the mix, we have the CLA mix down, which means it's got some EQ, it's got compression, you know, all that sort of stuff. But I am going to still go with a compressor, but just something that really enhances the sound of the song. So, let's see. I'm going to go with the old 670 here. And I'm going to start with a preset that is, there should be one called Mastering Glue or something of that nature. Yeah. All right, let me see what that sounds like. Really brings the guitars out. They're more aggressive. The whole mix just melted together in a good way. Gosh, what a difference. Ask me to remember. curious. I want to see what happens if I put that compressor before the Brainchild.
Ask me to remember all the things I've done before. I won't remember.
I think I liked it better after. Don't ask me why. I don't know. There's no right or wrong in this. It's just what sounded better to me.
Ask me to remember all the things I've done.
Okay, I really like that. Yeah, now that the 670 is in, it brought the guitars up in such a way that I don't feel like I need that little mid-range bump in the EQ. So literally the only thing the Air EQ is doing right now is like 0.25 dB, 0.4 dB of that air. Otherwise, I'm just using it as an analyzer. But I really like the analyzer. It's all good. Okay, and then this guy, we're doing some shifting, some EQing. I'm using this to do a high pass on the whole mix, just at 35, just to keep anything really, really down there at bay. Since it's rock and roll, keeping it pretty wide open. And I'm choosing the mono maker up to about 95. So anything 95 and below is actually being summed to mono. That really helps with kick drum, bass, low stuff to have more of a tight presence. Okay, next on the list is I'm going to put the FGX. Now, I use this on everything. I'm not going to use this compressor. We're using the 670, and I rather like what it did. So, just going to set a few settings real quick on this. Going to go constant gain monitoring on. I'm going to turn Dither off. I'm not going to turn Dither on. I'll explain in a second why. And I'm not going to do any ceiling adjustments either. Minus 0.10 is fine. I'll explain why again in just a minute. So with constant monitoring on, I'm going to bring this gain up, and I'm going to start to see how our meter's looking. Now, we're already, without any limiting, we're already at minus 12 LUFS integrated. And minus 14, minus 12, that's right about where Spotify wants it to be. Now, for this video's sake, I'm going to go ahead and pump it up a little bit louder. But there's no real need to go any louder if it's just going to be streaming. Only streaming. If you're going to have it on the web, for download, anything like that, you're going to want to go louder. But just pointing that out, we're already where we need to be without even doing anything as far as limiting goes and loudness. So I'm going to start driving up this gain and see how it affects everything. Now, one of the things that I love about the FGX is these three knobs right here, the low punch, the detail, and the dynamic perception. The low punch, as you start to kind of slam and bring those transients down, if you're losing some low punch, you would turn this up. If you're losing some high-end detail, mid-high and high detail, you would turn the detail knob up. And if you feel like you've lost the perception of dynamics, punchy kick and drums and stuff kind of moving and breathing, this dynamic perception knob will bring it back. And it is by far the best thing about this whole plugin.
Ask me to remember all the things I've done before. I won't I can't find
Watch these meters here. This is where I tend to, the peak I don't really care about at this point. It's not going to go over that probably. Keeping in mind that the FGX is not a brick wall limiter. It is a dynamics processor. So just know that. But I'm looking out for, I tend to hover on a rock song about -9 RMS. -7 is almost too loud, and -12 isn't loud enough. I tend to hover around -9 and it gets the job done. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Okay, now that we've got that, we're going to do our final step in this case, which is, in fact, a brick wall limiter. So I'm going to go with just a simple L3 Ultra Maximizer. Now, I'm going with the L3 because it has these different profiles in it, and they really can change the way your song sounds. You got basic, you got extreme analog, semi-separated, wideband auto, wideband manual, cozy and warm, loud and proud, lean and mean, low-level loudness, or the basic profile again. So there's a lot that can change when you change that profile. Now, I'm going to choose Type 2 dithering, and I'm going to do ultra shaping, and I'm just going to treat this like we were doing a CD. So I'm going to quantize down to 16 bits. So we are going to use dither because we are downsampling and we want that dither. Again, if you don't know what dither is, go Google it. It's complicated. So I'm going to set the out ceiling now. I'm going to go to -1, and I'm going to bring the threshold about -1, and we're going to see if it'll catch anything that's going over -1 on the FGX. And that's kind of what I want to do. And then listen and bypass and make sure that we're not changing the way the sound, because I like the way it sounds with the FGX, but I do need to put a brick wall on it. So let me hear this loud part. But before we do that, I got to now turn constant gain monitoring off. This whole time we've been hearing it without any volume difference. Now we're going to get a major volume difference. I'm going to have to turn it down in here. I'll try to not adjust it too much on this video for the YouTube side, but if it for some reason is too loud, I will bring it down just a hair, but you won't know that I did it. Okay, let's hear that. So look at that. On this meter, it's saying true peak was actually -0.4. So you see why I choose -1? Let's see what that does if I put that out to 0. You would think the true peak would be 0. But let's see what happens. almost 1 dB over 0 by setting this to 0. Now, a lot of that, honestly, I can't tell you why it does it. All I know is lately I've just been setting everything to -1. It's loud enough. I used to do like -0.2 back in the day when I was doing a lot of CDs, but I kind of am just keeping it. I don't want to squash it anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and take that threshold back up. So we're going to not let the L3 do near as much attenuation, just use it as a stopping point. Okay, now I'm just going to scroll through these profiles and see if anything stands out as sounding better. Not a big difference, but I think I like extreme analog or possibly loudness, low-level loudness. Let me listen again. I landed on wide band auto. It seemed to have just a little bit lower end, just a little beefier. It could be a placebo thing, I don't know, but I'm going with it. Okay, save. Now, for starters, we're going to move on to the next song, and I'm just going to drag everything that I got on the first song, Option, drag, so we're copying that settings over, including the FGX and the limiter. Now I'm going to bypass this and listen to the first song. The second song now. So I'm just going through and making little subtle changes. See, I've got all the tools I need now at my disposal, and we're close, but I'm going to be listening. I'm listening with a very keen eye. By the way, very low volume. What I was doing just then is I was just looking, not that you should master by looking, but I was just looking at the consistencies and the similarities between the Air EQ on Remember, which we couldn't hear obviously, and the Air EQ on Without You. Just looking at how low it's going, how is the mid-range scooped, how high it's going, and we're for sure in the ballpark here. So just going to be listening. I'm doing this, by the way, on the loudest part, because that's all that really matters when you're talking about setting up some of this limiting stuff. You want to make sure it sounds right at the loud. For the most part, that's what you want. Okay, bring this in, see if we like the same settings. Again, first turn this off. Okay, now we're ready to... Okay, save that, and just quickly moving on while we have that in our head. Again, can I reiterate for a second that this is not necessarily meant to be a mastering tutorial. This is a, hey, I'm a singer-songwriter, I need to master, I use air quotes on purpose, my own music, and these are some guidelines and some tools that'll get you good results at the very least. So Gonna bypass this, and again listen to this loud section and listen for the EQ.
It's Christmas time. It's Christmas time. It's Christmas time, and I'm coming home. It's Christmas time. It's Christmas time. It's Christmas time, and I'm coming home.
So right off the bat, I could hear it and I could see it, that we were getting a lot more information around this 1520K above zero than we were on the other songs. So I just brought this high cut in. I mean, it's a way high cut at what, 18, and the Q is 0.6. So pretty wide, not very harsh. Let me play you with it and without it.
It's Christmas time. It's Christmas time. It's Christmas time, and I'm coming home.
Yeah, I brought it up a little bit. Now it's at, what? I can't tell what that is. 23K? Yeah. Just smoothing it out. Just a hair. Just a hair. We'll see when we listen to the other songs. We're going to go boom, 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 and we're going to jump around. We're going to listen and make some quick decisions on that type of stuff. But let's keep listening here. Let's start back here.
And would it feel the same if I'm not there with you this year? It would be more fun. Anyone who feels and I'm coming home. It's Christmas time. It's Christmas time. It's Christmas time, and I'm coming home. And would it feel the same if I'm not there with you? This way.
What you're hearing right there when I'm doing that, by the way, is this is just the stereo section, and over here is the mono section. And so I'm listening to that presence shift in the stereo spectrum, so I'm only hearing things basically that are panned either really hard or all the way hard left or right.
And would it feel the same if I'm not there with you this year? It's Christmas time, and I'm coming home. It's Christmas time.
Okay, constant monitoring on, turn the bypass off. Okay, now I'm going to bring the limiter in. Okay, now save that. I'm going to use my faders, my control surface, and I'm going to swap between songs. I'm going to really listen, and when I'll stop, I'll kind of tell you what I'm hearing and what I'm listening for. All right, let's do that. Now, for purposes, which will be obvious here in a second, I'm going to line up the loudest parts of the songs together, so I can kind of just make a loop here like that, and I'm going to be listening to the ends of these three songs, this loudest point. Don't worry, we're going to still listen to the whole song, but this is the crucial part. All right.
It's Christmas time. It's without you.
Okay, Remember and Without You are clearly louder than Christmas Time, so we'll have to make some adjustments there. And Remember, to me, is sounding the best, and it has a little bit more of a high-mid presence. It might be a low-mid, there's too much low-mid on Without You. Let me listen. close. There's definitely some mid-range differences there. Let's work on getting this song louder.
It's Christmas time and I'm coming home. It's Christmas time. It's Christmas time. It's Christmas.
I think that's pretty good. I know that you're hearing a lot of weirdness here, and you know what? That's some of the feedback I've gotten on this video series is quite simply, thank you for going so far in depth and explaining everything. And you really can't do this justice unless you're listening to every little thing, and so you're just seeing the process. I'm muting and unmuting and trying to get them as close together as I can. I feel like we're there. I, at this point, would send these to the client and have them tell me what they think. So I would select each song. First of all, I'd probably get rid of this plugin just so that there's absolutely nothing. That was supposed to be at 0. So that there's absolutely nothing on the master, and then I would just select this song with everything else muted, and I'll go bounce, remember, I'll call it remember master -1, 16-bit 44.1. We've got our L3 set to that, and in this case I would probably prompt for a new location. I would hit bounce, and I'm going to go to the sessions folder here in training and final mix remember, and I'm going to create a new folder and call it mastered, and I'll put it in there. And so this is what I do to all 3 songs. I put them in that mastered folder, or I could just create a new folder on the desktop and say, all right, here's the 3 songs. Now, there is a lot more involved when it comes to the digital back-end side of things. There's a lot of good companies out there that do the streaming and the uploading. I'm going to leave that to your best judgment, whether you're using CD Baby or some other streaming service, or CD Replication House. That's up to you. And you're going to need to call them ahead of time and ask them, what kind of file do you need? What's the bit depth? What's the sample rate? What's the file type? I'm sure WAV file is what they're going to want. But they may want 24-bit 48K. They may want 16-bit 44.1. It matters that you have your dithering set properly depending on what your final output is going to be. So here is our songs back to back. And wow, I can't believe this is almost over. We've done so much work together. I'm going to go ahead and offer all 3 songs to be downloaded. I'll call it a mix and album mastered, and that'll be available on the website. And I really just don't think there's anything else that I need to show you. Do me a favor, leave your questions and comments in the comment section below. Let me know, is there something that you were hoping that I was going to show you that I didn't? Or is there something you missed, some question that you have? I'd be happy to help answer that. And again, please, if you like this type of content, like the video, subscribe to the channel, Sidoti Sound, and help us out by supporting. Go to sidotisound.com and you can purchase some things. You can download these stems for free. You can go to the shop and you can get hats and CDs, sorry. You can get hats and shirts and hoodies and coffee mugs and stickers, all that sort of stuff. And if you didn't know, I do have a Patreon, and I would love it if you would consider just becoming a patron of Sidoti Sound. The link is always in the description. So guys, I really appreciate your time. I hope I covered everything. I mean, this is pretty much good to go, ready to start sending to the client or uploading to the servers. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.